Hey there friends, welcome back to episode 35 of that live portfolio update where we're growing 50k into $1 million. The market's finally shown us a little bit of mercy over the last fortnight. Nothing to brag about, but we'll unpack it in this episode. Also, today's nugget is going to be on capital gains and losses and how it can affect your tax situation. So if this subject interests you, please make sure you guys stick around. And without further ado, let's just jump on into it. So what have we bought with our cash? Well, we had a shopping spree on the 12th of July. We moved into 6 new positions, being MacBank, The Reject Shop, JB Hi-Fi, Bell Financial, New Hope Corp, or well known as New Hope Coal. Cheeky nameplay there, guys. And last but not least, AMP. Now this guy burnt me back in the day in another portfolio, so I'm here to take back some of those capital losses. This one was one of our biggest buy sessions that we've seen in a long time. Alright, benchmark time. So how did STW fare this fortnight in comparison to our portfolio? Hey, finally a black week. We're up 0.29%, nothing to brag about, but it was compared to the ASX 200, which was up 0.86%. You can see clearly at the start of the fortnight, we were really underperforming. But we seemed to gain some traction on Thursday with our new additions, but threw most of it away in that market tanty on Friday. Let's see how the rest of the month plays out. So here's the list broken down of our current QAV stocks. It's a nice and healthy sized portfolio with 11 of the 12 stocks now. Well, for now. Only real letdown has been our biggest holding, dragging the returns down, being Clearview, throwing 9% in our face. Couple of nice gains from the new entrants, being Bell Financial and New Hope, up roughly 7% each. It's nice to see that. So here's all the last buys, holds and sells. The ones that changed are as follows and why. So ASX moved from hold to buy as it closed above last month's close of $81.71 with its 5% gain. And Clearview moved from buy to sell as it has breached that sell line that we were talking about last episode, which was at 64 cents and has now moved to 65 cents because it's an upward trend. Now we'll see how it opens on Monday mid-morning as it does bounce around a fair bit. But please remember guys, these are not recommendations, just what I own and the rules that I follow. So please do your own research and remember, check your car tires for wear. Okay, so since inception, we have a pure capital gain of negative 18.19%. The portfolio still has a dividend return of 4.93%, and this gives us a total return of negative 13.26%. Our highest return was on the 23rd of the 4th at 8.19%, and our highest loss was at 13.45% on the 1st of the 7th last episode. The road to recovery has begun. Alright guys, so this is a report in Sharesight showing our Aussie capital gains and losses. So first up, we can see how much capital gains we had during the reporting period. You can see clearly that Caprow and Challenger gave us a combined amount of $1,166. Not bad, but as we know, we got hammered during this reporting period. So scrolling down, you can see the capital losses that have been secured was a combination of 19 stocks, giving us a total value of $17,728. It's a big number, but it's good to review and do some regression testing on what actually happened. Here's some quick examples that I like to run. So you can see we got hit a couple of stocks twice, like COG in November and June, and GRR in Jan and June. Westgold was also a double, but this was an error duplicate purchase, so please ignore that one. Then we can also review our biggest punches by sorting with losses up here. So I click this twice and you can see the biggest values coming down. So the first 10 positions were real one sells, most likely on our 10k positions. Some around 15% when the market turned really quick. Some of the lower losses were probably from sell breach line or real ones on the 5k positions. And lastly, something else I like to see is when we actually sold. So if you hit this gain date filter, it will show you when we sold. You can see clearly that nearly half of the positions were sold off around the middle of June when there was blood on the streets. Now moving down, here we can see what capital losses were left when subtracting the capital gains. So $16,561 is what I like to call our capital loss kitty. And for those that don't know, here's some ruling from the ATO around timing and how it carries when you're an individual investor. At tax time, you can offset the loss against gains from shares in which we just explained above, but you can't actually offset the losses against your income from any other sources. It actually just carries over to the next financial year in which we hope to offset our winners. Now, unfortunately, this is where the average Joe that comes into the market and quits after getting burnt bad in a short period of time, it never gets to reap back those capital losses. They just sit there, unfortunately. And another thing to keep in mind, if you hold those shares for over 1 year and then you sell, you get a bonus CGT concession amount of 50%. This means you only get taxed at your nominal tax rate at 50% of the gains, and that's quite nice. If it's a company, it's 100% of the gains, which is a bit unfortunate. Now, this 16K might be a big number, but I believe it's the cost of learning this process, in which I'll use in many years to come. The process has really helped me remove emotions and prepare for the future of investing. Not to mention, I'll hopefully regain these losses, offsetting my future gains. But anyway, I'm just saving up for later. Money, money, money. Well, I hope you guys got something out of that. And please understand, it was actually quite hard to compile live, but hopefully I'll get a bit better at it. Now let's just close this thing out. Moving on now. All right, so our cash account is now at $20,510. With our $25.10 in cash, plus our $60,204 in stocks, takes us to an overall value of $80,714, which is about a positive 0.21% total portfolio gain from last week. Nothing to write home about, but I'm happy with the outcome with the huge buying spree we just had. Well, I hope you got through your beer and enjoyed that episode. Tune in next episode for more not financial advice, and you guys know the saying, keep healthy and wealthy. See you guys.